Okay, folks, here we are again. Um, I'm just gonna do a little showcase document of my newest main battle tank. Probably my best one to date. I tried to take basically everything into account that past designs have failed at and fix them, and I came up with this. It's possibly the stupidest looking main battle tank I've also made. This is an early version of it. There's still going to be a lot of modifications to it. This is the M16 Main Battle Tank. This is actually a 60-ton main battle tank. It's actually smaller, like isn't shorter than most of my designs. It actually looks really similar to an old main battle tank, my MBT 7, which I made a long time ago. This one, quite a bit of work went into this one. I actually made a prototype of this version on an old chassis, my MBT 10, and then actually scrapped that entire version. That one had a 140 millimeter gun. This one I decided to go with the 120 millimeter because of the turret mount. The 140 millimeter was just insanely long, and I don't think it matters that much. But I did make this one with the ability to mount a 140 if I wanted to, with a few modifications. Okay, so let's go over what this thing is exactly. This is a 60-ton main battle tank, 120 millimeter gun. Its current version only carries 18 rounds of ammunition, but more can be added. I decided I needed more coaxial firepower, so it actually mounts two 14.5 millimeter machine guns. Rather than one larger one, I decided to go with two smaller ones, even though 14.5 are like giant Russian heavy machine guns, but whatever. So that should be able to tear up the insides of a tank pretty well. 120 millimeter gun firing primarily AP, and very strong frontal armor. This is even the side armor. Basically all armor except the rear armor is very strong. We've got a lower plate, 300 millimeters, angled back at 60 degrees, giving us an effective 600 millimeters of armor. We've got an upper plate at 78 degrees, 22 degrees inverse, 130 millimeters, which is 625 millimeters effective, so we should be able to have very high effective armor even if someone is aiming down at us. Front of the turret, 260 millimeters at 65 degrees, giving us 615 millimeters of effective armor, which the initial spec I actually called for when I thought of this tank, because I'm like, I want this much gun depression, this size turret ring, this much frontal armor along the LOS. Actually only called for 300 millimeters, so that's pretty good. 600 is pretty good. What I really like about this tank, though, is the side armor. We have a like a spaced kind of composite side armor. The main plate. I also want to note that this is the first tank I've made that uses Viz clip. I generally stay away from it, and so does Sir Daubers. But I decided to use it here just because it's more efficient. So there's only two props here that are Viz clipped. This side of the turret and the inside hull is Viz clipped. The inside hull is a whopping 100 millimeters, which is huge for my tanks. So this hull plate here is 100 millimeters, going all the way back to the engine, and then it switches to 30 millimeters because this doesn't matter as much. And then that's actually backed by 20 millimeters side skirt, and then under the side skirt we have an angled space plate that goes around the crew compartment. That's 50 millimeters. And it's also forward here. There's a triangle prop here. That's also 50 millimeters. So that gives a very high side armor effectiveness. So you shouldn't just be able to lop a shell straight through the side of this thing. Our side turret armor is 75 millimeters. Usually I only use 40, so that is actually also an improvement. I mean, ideally you'd be pointing the turret at the enemy, but in this case it'll help a little bit if we're off center a little bit. Back armor is 30, which is actually better than I often use. Top armor 20, and then 30 on top of the turret, which seems a little weak, but you'll understand why that's okay in just a second. There's something that this tank was specifically built for that we'll go over in just a little bit. Suspension's a little bit different than most of my tanks. I usually use larger wheels, but I decided to go with these smaller wheels with the track tool, which makes it look kind of stupid from the front since the tracks are so thin, but that's just the way this variant's going to look. Later variant, mainly for visual purposes, this might stretch out a little bit more and make wider tracks, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Anyway, suspension, use these smaller wheels because you can give them higher armor values primarily. Sometimes it might adversely affect your performance, but it depends on the way you do it, I guess. So we do have these smaller wheels, but the special thing about this suspension is it uses a system that I thought of a while ago, but I've never really been able to implement successfully until now. Basically, we've got our power plant is huge. We've got 3 V12 petrol 23 liters, so we've got like an insane amount of horsepower, 40.7 horsepower. Going forward to a large CVT, and the actual wheels that are powered are inside the tank. So these are protected in the tank, right? And then each of these wheels on the left and right, I'm getting some jitters for some reason, I apologize for that. Each of these wheels, the front road wheels not, but each of these wheels is ball socket individually to the wheels inside. So if you get shot by HE or something in the side and you like blow this wheel off or this wheel off, no matter which wheel you blow off, it's not going to be your power wheel because all of these wheels are power wheels. All 5 of them. I mean, obviously, if all your suspension gets blown off, you're screwed. But rather than just having one wheel get the power from the engine, which is usually either the back wheel or the front wheel, which is really easy to blow off, we actually have all the wheels powered. And it actually works very well. So that's a good mark. Okay, so let me show you this thing driving around. It's a pretty fast tank, but we're still tweaking the mobility, so there is some like oversteer issues and stuff like that. It uses a seat that is attached to the gun, so it rotates with the gun, and it's got its own kind of isolated turret right in here. It's a real quick tank. I don't actually know if I can drive up these stairs because I haven't tried it. Yeah, okay. So, this tank, the #1 priority was gun depression. And this tank, even with its 120mm gun, has a whopping 10 degrees of gun depression. So look at that. Insane gun depression. If it had a 100mm gun, I could probably get like 20 degrees of gun depression. But the gun is mounted specifically so it doesn't impact the hull. And can get 10 degrees of gun depression, which is just insane. And it will fire without going, like, look, it's not even touching the turret roof with that much gun depression. That's why the turret's so huge and goofy looking. It'll fire without clipping into the turret. Wait for it to reload here. So, I mean, if we look at it in a hull down position like this, I mean, this isn't a very good hull down position, but if the hull is hidden, like, first thing, this is 300mm flat, so even if they shoot it here, they're probably not going to penetrate unless they're using very specific ammunition type. But if they hit the turret, there's no way in hell you're going to penetrate this in a million years. Very good gun depression creates major advantages. So mainly the intended purpose of this tank is to move very quickly. And it's quick. Those 3 engines put out a lot of horsepower, which a lot of people use this same power configuration on their 60-ton tanks. It's real convenient. So it should be just as fast as those things. And this is almost basically unmodified. It's just using a 72 chip that I put in the chain to I wanted to combine very good gun depression, very good mobility with armor, and I think I pulled it off pretty well. I usually stick more to 60-ton tanks. I mean, excuse me, to 40-ton tanks, because I think there's a little more balancing to do there, but I think this one came out pretty good. It does look kind of scenic. That's all I have to say. Okay, thank you. It's just a quick